Juan Soto has spoken out about his free agency that is upcoming, and just moments after losing the World Series to the Los Angeles Dodgers, he did not mince his words. He did not close any doors on any specific teams, so this is a golden opportunity for those that are willing to open up the checkbook, so we'll break that down and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, and today we're going to be breaking down some of the comments that were made by Juan Soto following the World Series defeat to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And before we do that, I want to let you know that a large percentage of you watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel, so go ahead and hit that for me. But what this World Series showed us is that it is pay to win. And you could be a nice story, you could make a World Series run every now and then if you don't open up your checkbooks. But at the end of the day, the Dodgers spent over $1 billion in free agency this past offseason, and they got rewarded for it. It came at a steep price. They had to pay $700 million for Shohei, $325 million for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. They paid a lot of money for a lot of the guys that were critical parts of the team to getting them to where they were. So this is a message to all the owners out there. You got to spend money if you want to have any chance of winning the World Series going forward. Let's take a look at what Juan Soto had to say. So he was asked if he expects the Mets to go after him in free agency. I don't know what teams are going to come after me. Definitely, I'll be open to this and every single team. I don't have any doors closed. I'm going to be available for all 30 teams. So what this is signifying to all owners out there is that if you're going to cut the fattest check to Juan Soto, you're going to get him. He is going for the money right here. He has a World Series ring already. He played in another World Series. He's shown the capability of being a fantastic player in the playoffs. And I don't know if the Yankees have a clear advantage here. I really thought that they did heading into the playoffs because he was looking great in those Yankee pinstripes, and he was made to be a Yankee. At least that's what it looks like to me. But maybe he doesn't feel that same way. And Juan Soto saying on if it'll be tough to leave the Yankees. Leaving any place that is a winning team is always hard. This place was really special. It's been a blast for me. I've been really happy. This was a really special group. But what was really telling to me was that Juan Soto was the last Yankee player to leave the dugout when the Dodgers were celebrating on the field, and he was really taken in the moment. It could have been his last moment as a Yankee at Yankee Stadium. So to me, that's saying, all right, maybe this was a farewell game for Soto. He didn't have the best Game 5, there's no doubt about that, but he was instrumental in getting them to where they were. And if it wasn't for Aaron Judge overshadowing him in the regular season, maybe he would have gotten some MVP consideration as well. I wouldn't be shocked if he finishes second in that voting come the end of the year when the voting actually does happen. But man, Stanton's advice on Juan Soto and free agency. I've never been in it. Just stay with us. I'm sure the Yankees want him to stick around because he was electric for them, and he did a lot of great things in Yankee pinstripes. But another thing that really stood out to me is this, and this is a Red Sox fan, so take it with a grain of salt, but Jared Carrabis saying trading for Juan Soto and having him in the Bronx for a year will give the Yankees zero advantage in free agency. He don't care about you or your history. He will go where he's paid the most money. And that, to me, as a Toronto Blue Jay fan, I think that's very encouraging. I don't know if the Dodgers are going to be going after him as heavily as some might think. I mean, they're on the books for a lot of money in the next few years here. So I would be shocked if they go out and acquire Soto, and I'd be shocked if he actually entertained going to the team that he lost in the World Series to, but you never rule it out. You never know. Kevin Durant did it in basketball, and the Warriors pretty much became invincible at that point. So this is a great point here by Jared Carrabis, and it's true. He's going to go where he's paid the most money, and I think that makes sense. It makes sense from a Soto perspective. It makes sense from any team that's trying to sign him. He's the big fish. He is the big fish on the market this year. And if you want a shot at him, this is what it's going to take. It's going to take probably $600 million. And if you're willing to pay that, if you're willing to go to those lengths, I think you're going to be able to acquire him. If it's better, if it outmatches some of the offers from other teams, I don't know if the Yankees are going to be able to retain him. It's as simple as that. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough on them. And this is Stephen A. Smith, and I never use Stephen A. Smith as a barometer for baseball takes, but he has a point here. Why would you not go somewhere else rather than play with a bunch of dudes who shrunk when the lights were the most brightest? Now Stephen A. Smith on Juan Soto entering free agency after the World Series loss. So, again, another good point made here that, yeah, the Yankees just didn't step up when the time called for it, and maybe they weren't as good as we all thought they were. I thought they had a really easy path to the World Series. I thought the Dodgers actually beat the second best team in the league on their way to the World Series in the San Diego Padres, and that was reflected. The series went the distance. They almost lost. They were down 2-1. They were facing elimination, and then the Padres just shrunk. They weren't able to score runs in the last 20-plus innings of those games there. So, look, this is going to be an interesting sweepstakes. I don't know if it's going to get as crazy as the Ohtani one did, but Ohtani pretty much narrowed it down to two teams, and you could even argue that it was one team all along, whereas Soto, he's basically saying that every team has a shot here. If you come at me with a competitive offer, I will not say no. I will not hear you out. So, as a Blue Jay fan, that's very encouraging to me. I think that there's a real chance, there's a better chance today than there was maybe in the beginning of the season. But I thought there was no way that Juan Soto was going to leave New York. He's made to be a New York Yankee, but him saying this, it's definitely encouraging for all the other fan bases. But again, this is urging owners to open up their checkbooks. The Dodgers paid to win. There's no doubt. And this is not some team that overcame adversity. This is not a team that had to overcome and jump through hurdles. They paid for this World Series title, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because last time I checked, every single owner in Major League Baseball is a billionaire. They are able to do the same thing. They're able to afford the same contracts that the Dodgers have. So for you to make excuses and say we don't have the money, we don't have the revenue in order to go out and acquire Soto, you're wrong, because he's going to bring in money and he's going to make your team a lot more marketable than it was before you had him. So you could say all you want. You could say that you don't have the cash flow to go out and acquire this guy, but it's not true. You have billions of dollars. Go out and spend if you want your team to be a World Series contender. That is what the Los Angeles Dodgers showed us. I know the Diamondbacks made the World Series the year before that. Take that with a grain of salt. That doesn't happen too often. Seeing an underdog team get to the biggest stage, it's just not something that is common practice in Major League Baseball. But that'll wrap it up for this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Thanks, guys, for making it this far. And gear up, because it's going to be a very busy off season. See you all tomorrow.